Hi, this is Ashindra Pradhan, one of the members of Firefighters, our project team for CS6440 Intro to Health Informatics.
Hi, this is Ali Sheikh. I'll be presenting along with Shashindra, and joining our team are Peter Granning, Tony Potter, and Radha Venkatraman.
We are working with Paula Brown of U.S. Center for Disease Control and Jeff Duncan of Utah Department of Health to develop FHIR interface to link death data. The link to the deliverables 1 and 2 are down below. Before moving to a project status, here is an overview of a project. The Department of Health Master Person Index DOHMPI contains records of deceased healthcare practitioners in a PostgreSQL database. This project entails extracting death data from this database, parse it to FHIR JSON object, and transfer this FHIR object to Utah Department of Medicaid and Health Finance FHIR server, either updating or creating existing practitioner object in the database. Here is a Gantt chart that summarizes the project status, the progress we have made so far in this project, and the parts we are currently working on. Currently, we have a partially functioning application, and we are right on the target for a project. We have stood a local instance of Smart on FHIR server that is being used for appending death data. We started off on this project by experimenting with CleanFHIR and investigating libraries and FHIR APIs, as well as setting up a development environment that includes setting up GitHub Access, installing Python IDE, installing PsychoPG2 library, and the FHIR client. In addition, we also deployed an instance of PostgreSQL server and set up a test database which was populated with the synthetic data that we have generated. Currently, we have completed the module for querying deceased practitioner from the database and are troubleshooting a module to append data to Smart and FHIR test server instance that we have created. Our tech lead, Tony, will review the functionality we have implemented to date next.
We've got a file that does several different types of database accesses from our Postgres database server. The user can actually set these constants in the network constants file, and we actually output it in several different ways. So I can take all of our data and process it in a linear fashion, or I can go ahead and search based on a birth date or a death date and retrieve that information in a raw JSON type object. Or I can search for just the last name or a first name and last name and get that out as an HTML code. We can also search for a range of dates. So if I want to find everyone who's died in a particular range, that's something else that we can do. And this will get everyone who's died in that death range.
As Ashindra explained during the project status slide, we have finished the code for querying the database for deceased practitioners. We are now working on the code to translate the data received from the query into FHIR bundles. After the translation code is done, we will write the code to transmit the bundle to our FHIR server using the FHIR REST API. Since we as a team had decided to use Smart on FHIR for our project, we also have to work on code which lets us authenticate through OAuth without a web browser. I will explain about this further in the next slide. Authenticating to the Smart on FHIR server has been a bit of a challenge. We know that Smart on FHIR uses OAuth, and during our tests we found out that OAuth only supports authentication through a web browser. Since our project is a console-based application, we have had to think of ways to make authentication work. We found an answer to this problem when we attended the Smart on FHIR Developer Masterclass, and we will try to implement that in our code. If authentication still doesn't work, then we will use a local installation of the Happy FHIR server. We started our project with the assumption that since we have to work with data for deceased physicians, we can use FHIR's practitioner resource. Later on, we realized that the original project description hinted on using the patient resource. Therefore, we have decided to develop code that can use both the patient and the practitioner resource in FHIR. Another concern was that the data we received from the organizational mentors had contradictory format. We have since contacted our organizational mentors about this and have found the right format.
Thank you for watching, and we look forward to your feedback.